Saam Acupuncture and Meditation, the Korean four-needle technique. The meditation of monks. Korean traditional and modern medicine. Saam Acupuncture. Master Saam was a monk and one of the great physicians of the Chosun dynasty, 16th century Korea. Sa means dwell and Am means rock. Like other high priests, he didn't let us know his real identity. The only thing we know is that he lived in a stone cave and treated many people. After meditating for many years in a cave, Saam opened his mind's eye and saw through to the core of acupuncture's mystery. From the classroom manuscript, Introduction to Saam Acupuncture, Korean Four-Needle Technique by Dr. Tae Chung Chu, CEO of Virginia University of Integrative Medicine and President of Samra Acupuncture Clinic. Once you have achieved a sensitivity and specificity of qi through the preparatory meditations of transcendental Kundalini meditations, shift your concentration into the wrist points shown on page 17. Be still, quiet, and comfortable. If you are a Christian, you can imagine Christ nailed to the cross in those areas of the wrist, or place pennies on the area of the wrist. Do not use or puncture yourself with a needle. This meditation is done without needles. After you have gained sensitivity and specificity to qi, try to move it across your hand by redirecting your focus of attention. Open up a second point and feel if there is a connection between these points. Movement to new areas creates connection and tension, which will facilitate growth and more distinct sensations. Try to open up a new area adjacent on the hand or further up the thumb. After a few days, redirect your attention to the arm, perhaps midway between the wrist and the elbow or at the elbow itself. Again, try and establish connections between the new points. Do not go too fast. Each step will take days or weeks to accomplish. If you are able to reach this level of meditation, you will now find qi is easier to access and will be more responsive when you go from your busy state of mind into meditation. You will be able to recall and raise the qi from within your body and consciousness. Begin by growing the qi on your hands and arms with dedicated time and practice for a few days, weeks, or even months. The next level of meditation before starting the Sa'am patterns is to shift your attention to a point on your leg. Choose a point on your shin, feet, or ankles. Try first stomach number 36. This is point 2 of the large intestine Jungguks. This point is one of the most commonly used in traditional Oriental medicine. Next, use gallbladder 41. This is point 2 of the small intestine and Sanjiao Jungguks, which is a point on the feet. Just like the wrist crease of the hands, the qi also resides strongly in the ankle and feet areas. In doing this meditation, we are stimulating some of the most strong and potent acupuncture points of the channel system. When you get to this point and you have achieved definitive and specific sensations of qi at the areas of your meditational focus, I would recommend you begin learning about the acupuncture point locations from school textbooks like Chinese Acupuncture and Moxibustion from Foreign Language Press Beijing, Chief Editor Cheng Jingnong, or Fundamentals of Oriental Medicine by Makiochi. The more you learn about the total channel points, the more you will benefit from your meditation practice. In the last stage, before beginning the Sa'am medical meditation, bring your concentration to two separate acupuncture points, one on your arm and one on your leg, at the same time. You may find that there is an ebb and flow between one another. Your whole body is interconnected with the webs of channels. After you have achieved this level in your meditation, you can start upon the specific points of the Saam patterns. In the beginning of Saam meditation, start upon the two tonifying points first until you have gained a specificity of chi in them, and then add the two sedating points to your meditation. If it is too difficult to do all 4 points at once, choose the tonifying points first and occasionally go back to the sedating points. When you have become proficient, add points you have learned from the corresponding textbooks, especially the front mu, back shu points, points on the Ren Du channel, 8 extra channels, and points local to the area you wish to enhance. Meditation positions. Lying flat on a bed or floor with arms at the sides in a comfortable position. Head can rest flat or on a pillow. Eyes closed and palms of the hands facing upwards. Be restful and comfortable. Number 2, sitting in a chair, making peace between good posture and comfort, with arms on lap or resting on chair sides, eyes closed and palms of hands facing upwards. With the palms facing up, this allows for the absorption of chi from the heavens. This is a necessary arm position for growing and facilitating your chi. Standing, advanced stage. Moving or standing still is comparable to the exercises of Qigong and Tai Chi. The Jungguks and Sengguk of Saam Acupuncture. For each organ element, we have the ability and choice to either tonify or sedate it. Mostly we will be doing the Jungguk tonifying technique, but we'll also explain the most common Sengguk sedating channels. Jungguk is to tonify an organ that is to be found weak and deficient. Sengguk is to sedate an organ found to be too strong and excessive. For the Jungguk technique, we tonify the mother element and sedate the grandmother controlling element. Familiarize yourself with the 5 element relationships explained earlier in the video and chapter of the text. For Sengguk technique, we tonify grandmother, the controlling element, and reduce the sun element. The number of acupuncture points in Saam medical meditation are identified by their channel name and point number in accordance with the point classification system taught in the English curriculum. In the pictures below, I will identify the tonifying and sedate acupuncture points by the sequence of pictures. Picture points number 1 and 2 are tonifying points. The arrow signifies the direction of the flow of chi in the channel and the direction of the insertion of the needle that an acupuncturist would perform. In this case, the acupuncturist promotes the flow of chi by pushing the needle with the directional flow of chi of the channel. We also tonify the point by rotating the acupuncture needle clockwise or lifting and thrusting it. Picture points number 3 and 4 are sedating points. The arrow signifies the opposing direction of the flow of chi of the channel and the insertion of the needle technique. In this case, we sedate the flow of chi by placing the needle against the direction of chi in the channel. We also sedate the point by rotating the acupuncture needle counterclockwise. With Saam medical meditation, use your mental focus to push the chi in the direction of the arrow. Males, 4 male patients use these points on the left side only. For female meditators and patients, use them on the right side only. We will elaborate that harmonized combinations further later in the video. The male-female applications. If you are to take your study of acupuncture further, you will find many important characteristics and patterns of acupuncture points. One of them is called the 5 shu points, which are found on all the 12 channels, the 12 major channels. The 5 Xiao points are all located from either the fingertip to the elbow or from the toe tip to the knee. They begin from the distal end of the extremities up towards the elbow or knee. The name of the points in order of location from the beginning at the finger or toe tip up towards the elbow or knee are called the Jing Well points. These are all located on the fingertip or toe tip points. These are either the beginning or the termination of the channel. Next is the Yin Spring Points, which are located either on the toe, just adjacent to the finger, or uh, on the toe just adjacent to the nail, or on the finger just adjacent to the thumb, just further up a little bit. The shoestring points are located on either the wrist crease or on the ankle crease. The Jing River points are located either on the forearm or on the shin of the leg. And the He points are located on the elbows or the knees. On the yin channels, now this is the 5-element pattern, and this is very important to know in regards to the construction of the Korean 4-needle technique, in regards to tonifying the mother point and sedating the grandmother point. So the Jing Well points on the yin channels are of the element of wood, or in other words, the Jing Well points located at the fingertip or toe tips are on the yin channels are the element of wood, irregardless of the channel. So they could be on the liver channel at the liver number 1 point is the wood point of the liver channel, or the wood point of the wood channel. However, the heart number 9 on the pinky is the wood point of the heart channel, or kidney 1 on the bottom of the foot is the Jing Well point, which is the wood point on the kidney channel. So each of these channels will have this Yin Spring, Shoestring, Jing River, He point. The Yin Spring points on the yin channels are the element of fire, or related to heart. The shoestring points are earth, Jing River points on the yin channel are metal, and the He points on the yin channel are water, or the He points at the elbows or the knees are the water element, which relates to kidneys. You'll see this construction later. On the yang channels, there's a different order. The Jingwell points at the fingertip or toe tip are metal. The yin spring points, just a little bit above those points, are water. The shoestring points at the wrist and the ankles are wood. And the Jing River points are fire on the forearm or the shin. The He points at the elbows or the knees are the element of earth. These are for the yang channels. So you'll see this construction in the Korean 4-needle technique. Acupuncture point locations of traditional Oriental medicine. An introduction to the acupuncture point location system. This book is available on Amazon and Smashwords for those wishing to learn further about the acupuncture point locations. This is the liver Jungguk Korean 4-needle technique, or the liver tonifying technique of the liver channel. Points number 1 and 2 are the tonification points, and points number 3 and 4 are the sedating points. Points number 1 and 2 are the He points. They're located at the knee, the level of the knee. These are the water element points on each of the liver and the kidney channel points, while points number 3 and 4 are the metal points on both the liver and the lung channel. Liver 8 is point number 1, and point number 2 is kidney 10. These are the tonification points. Liver 4 is the sedating point number 3, and lung 8 is the sedating point number 4. These are the Jing River points, or the metal points on the liver channel and lung channel. So to tonify the tonification points number 1 and 2, we would insert the needle in the direction of the arrow, which is going upwards from the lower leg upwards. But in meditation, we can visualize the energy flowing upwards as well. For sedating, we're going to insert the needle opposing the chi directional flow of the channel. So in points number 3 and 4, that arrow is going against the directional chi flow of the channel to sedate. So you can kind of visualize that in meditation. And these are things we will do with the acupressure discussion later in this series. This is the liver Jungguk, the liver tonifying technique. The liver is associated with the element of wood, spring season, and environmental factor of wind in the emotional motion of anger. In Saam, the liver is associated with the third level of human needs, satisfaction in regards to one's level of accomplishment and recognition. Its environmental factor is wind of an inward moving type. The liver Jungguk is one of the most commonly used techniques in Saam because of its effect on reducing stress, which we consider liver qi stagnation, and its role of regulating blood flow. The liver Jungguk has a massaging and soothing effect on the liver, which helps it to enhance its function of smoothly circulating qi and blood throughout the body. The liver and its associated element of wood, the spring season, and its environmental factor of wind take on properties of birth, growth, and expansion. A wood tree grows in every direction, extending upward to the branches, downward in the root, and expansion at the girth, growing with a flexibility and adaptability. Liver qi can be affected by stress and frustration, like getting caught in a traffic jam. The functions of the liver become stiff and unbending, which affects the smooth circulation of qi and blood. Headaches, tightness of muscles, hypertension, anger, and irritability are signs of the inflexibility of liver qi. After a prolonged period, signs of wind develop. Wind is signified by fast moving or quickly changing events, and also lack of movement, such as paralysis or numbness experienced by stroke patients. Cases of stroke strongly relate to liver properties of wind and wood. A fast or slow changing event signified by pain, tremor, paralysis, numbness, and loss of consciousness may be attributed to wind. Wind can occur from an event in the brain or in the lower spine, where the patient generally loses arm or leg movements and sensations. The therapeutic approach is to rehabilitate neural capacity with movement or speech exercises for up to several months or years. Saam medical meditation is useful for connecting and regenerating chi that is lost from the wind event. By connecting these points with our minds, we give a blueprint for recovery. We stimulate areas of the cerebral cortex directly linked to the points of our meditation. Recovery is long term, meditation is necessary. Getting small improvements is a positive indication. Blood and essence are of the same source in traditional Oriental medicine. So healthy blood will nourish the reproductive organs. In females, the liver and its role of soothing and nourishing blood is vital in regulating the menstruation. Signs of dysmenorrhea, painful period, amenorrhea, no period, and premenstrual syndrome are reduced when using the liver Jungguk. In males, the liver channel goes in and around the testicles. In both female and male, the liver Jungguk can be enhanced with the use of the stomach Jungguk. The addition of warm drying action of the stomach acts as a synergistic multiplier effect to the liver Jungguk as it circulates through the genitals. Together, they can help nourish and warm the genital area for the treatment of infertility and impotence. In Saam acupuncture, the liver Jungguk's environmental factor is wind and its element is wood. It is associated with the third level of human needs, that of achieving pride, power, and recognition through the use of one's abilities and intellect. The liver Jungguk brings an inward movement of air and expansion, which helps plan and push us to reach the highest levels of intellectual achievement and physical growth. For this, the liver is considered as the general of the 5 yin organs. The liver junkyuk is used to help those who are dissatisfied with their level of ability, intellectual achievement, and recognition in their lives. A politician who has lost an election or a worker overlooked for a promotion may be prone to anger, frustrations, and feelings of inferiority. The inward and expansion motion of air of the liver junkyuk can help inflate our egos and give self-confidence and hope. People successful with intellectual accomplishments, achievements, and abilities may be prone to too much inward movement of wind. They have quick moving, active minds that can store and process a lot of information seen in people such as lawyers and physicians. Sometimes they develop arrogant, insulting, haughty behavior and think too highly of themselves. This may be accompanied by talking in loud, forceful voices and being opinionated. In this case, there is an excess liver energy, too much inward movement of wind, which can sometimes lead to problems like tension headache, hypertension, or stroke. We can sedate this by first using either the liver Sengguk or Sanjiao Jungguks, followed by the liver Jungguk. In cases of excess liver energy, the pulse will be forceful, tight, and wiry. The emotions of dissatisfaction like anger, frustration, and depression can manifest as irritable or aggressive behavior. Underlying these emotions may be physical symptoms such as menstrual pain and discomfort in women, or headaches and localized pain. Mentally, feeling stuck or obstructed in one's pursuit stagnates qi. Trauma or accident causes obstruction of qi and blood, resulting in pain. The liver junkyuk's expansive energetic property can create movement and circulation to the damaged area. Circulation of qi and blood will facilitate healing and decrease pain. Sometimes it is difficult between using the liver junkyuk or sengyuk. For eye problems, we initially think of the liver because in traditional Oriental medicine, the liver channel ends at the eyes. If the eyes are red, painful, with feelings of pressure, this may indicate signs of excess. Even though it's excess, we may still use the liver junkyuk tonifying technique as we want to open up the channel. However, it can be equally wise to use the liver sengyuk, which will reduce these excessive symptoms. In cases like this, we can switch between both techniques. Other uses with the liver junkyuk technique: pain, numbness, or problems along the channel, in particular along the hypochondriac and chest regions. Eye disorders: the liver channel terminates at the eyes. Stress, high blood pressure, depression, anger, frustration, irritability, emotional mood disorders. Expels wind, paralysis, stroke, tremors. Wind manifests as numbness, paralysis, shaking movements, and rapid or slow changing conditions. Wind can be of a hot or cold type or occur due to deficiency of blood. Hot type wind is comparable to heat in the blood, which may cause skin rashes, fever, tremors, possible loss of consciousness. Cold type wind will exhibit slow movements, pain, and stiffness of movement, and possible loss of consciousness. Blood deficient signs of wind will include shaking, tremors, lightheadedness, pale color of the tongue, and eyelids. In each of these cases, we will need to either add cooling or warming energy or blood tonifying points to enhance the liver junkyuk. To facilitate growth and expansion, both physical and mental, for the pursuit and achievement of reaching our fullest potential, we must push against our boundaries. This involves the ebb and flow of tension and pressure. When we break through to a new outer boundary, this is often accompanied by an emptiness or vacuum which needs to be filled up. The inward inflating movement of liver wind can help fill the vacuum with qi and blood. This helps us maintain and sustain our new positional growth, which will eventually lead to further growth in both the mental and physical sense. The liver stores and rejuvenates blood, governs the smooth circulation of qi, calm the emotional disposition, regulate menstruation, contributes to essence. Saam Acupuncture, the liver Jungguk. Kidney is the mother. Kidney water is the mother of liver wood. Kidney nourishes liver. Lung metal is the grandmother of liver wood. Lung metal controls liver. With this technique, we want to tonify the kidney point, the water point, the Hesse point on the kidney and liver channels. And we want to sedate and reduce the metal points on the lung and liver channel. Thus, the tonifying points kidney 10 and liver 8, again, are the water points, the Hesse points on the liver and kidney channel, and the sedating points are the metal points, the grandmother points on the liver and lung channel. This is the kidney Jungguk, or the kidney tonification technique, the most commonly used acupuncture meditation in meditation and the clinic. Points number 1 and number 2 are the tonification points, and points number 3 and number 4 are the sedating points. So point number 1 and 2 are the Jing River points. These are the metal points on the kidney and the lung channel because metal is the mother of water. So we use mom to tonify sun. And so the metal points on the kidney and the lung channel. Lung is associated with metal. That's why lung 8 is point number 2. So point number 1, kidney 7, just a couple chun directly above the medial side of the ankle. Kidney 7 is point number 1. Lung number 8 is on the wrist, just 1 inch, 1 chun above the wrist crease on the thumb side. Kidney 3 is point number 3, which is the sedating point. This is the shoestring point. This is the earth point. So earth is the grandmother of water. So we want to sedate grandma. And so earth is associated with spleen. So kidney 3 is the earth point on the kidney channel, and spleen 3 is the earth point on the earth channel or spleen channel. And remember, you can meditate and acupuncture insertion in direction of the needle channel. So you'll notice that on kidney 7, point number 1, the arrow is going up. You can insert the needle in an upwards direction, going up the leg and meditate. However, on point number 2, on the lung channel, the directional flow of qi to tonify, you go with the directional flow of qi, and that is moving down towards the hand from the elbow towards the hand. That's the directional flow of qi. Point number 3 and number 4, we want to needle and meditate opposing the directional flow of qi to sedate. So you'll notice kidney 3 has a arrow going back towards the toe, and spleen 3 also likewise has an arrow going back towards against the directional flow of qi. The kidneys are associated with the element of water, the season of winter, and the environmental factor of cold, and the emotions of fear and pleasure. In Saam, the kidneys are associated with the second level of human needs, satisfaction in regards to one's sexual relationship. The kidneys are the body's treasure keeping. The kidneys are the body's treasure keeper, housing the vital substances of essence, yin and yang. The kidneys provide the foundation and warmth necessary for full physical growth and metabolism. The kidneys house our essence, which diminishes over the aging process of life. Sexual maturation and decline. Marrow as the kidneys produce marrow as the structure of both brain and bones are manifestations of our kidney essence. Healthy kidney essence gives us beautiful, shiny hair, healthy teeth, strong bones, physical and sexual vitality. If in life we are only given so much essence, half from the kidneys pre heaven essence, genetic components of the parents, and half is processed through the spleen, post heaven essence, taken from the food and nourishment we receive. Overwork, too much sickness, genetics, hard living, or over sexual activity all affect the quality of essence we have and how soon we use it up. Deficiency of kidney qi and essence can manifest as low back pain, knee pain, and reproductive disorders. It can be seen in the graying of hair, bone weakness like osteoporosis, loss of hearing, tooth loss, and loss of short term memory. In these cases, the kidney junkyuk can be used to supplement and maintain our kidney essence and overall vitality. Mixed in together with essence is kidney yin and yang. Yin in nature pertains to coldness, nighttime, winter, darkness, stillness, solid, and sleep. Yang pertains to heat, activity, daytime, summer, vapor, and light. The yang aspect of the kidney is attributed to Ming Men fire, or the gate of fire. In traditional Oriental textbook, Foundations of Chinese Medicine, the author describes this as a boiling cauldron of water which steams and warms up the entire system. It is this type of fire that activates the heat and warmth for our mental and physical metabolism. If we are lacking in kidney yang, we will have feelings of cold, sleepiness, mental dullness, and loss of reproductive vitality. These are yin characteristics. By lacking in yang, we have too much yin. If we are kidney yin deficient, then by default we have too much yang energy. The most common signs of kidney yin deficiency are the experiences that some women go through during menopause. They experience hot flashes, night sweating, frequent urination in the night, and difficulty in sleeping. Men may get nocturnal emissions. Nighttime is yin time, when the yin should grow stronger. If our body's yin is low, the yang will still be active at night. We will feel heat, have active thoughts, and have difficulty sleeping. Mentally, the kidneys are associated with the second level of human needs, that of love and sexual desire. In Saam Acupuncture, the kidneys have a mixture of both warmth and cold and are associated with the elements of water. The combination of water, heat, and cold, as well as housing the essence, all combine to form the fluids of sexual reproduction and desire. We use the kidney junkyuk for decreased sexual vitality, interest, or desire, and reproductive problems due to the poor quality of the egg or sperm. Another important mental aspect of the kidneys is to give us strong willpower. The kidneys help nourish marrow, which is the sticky substance in the bones, and also the matter and substance of the brain. The kidneys help to achieve skill and dexterity in the performance of one's talent, such as an accomplished musician and athlete requiring physical dexterity, or a lawyer, professor, doctor, or entrepreneur requiring mental dexterity, the ability to study, concentrate, and practice over long periods of time is a quality of our kidneys. The kidneys also are associated mentally with fear. Because the kidneys are the root and foundation of our physical cells, this fear is a mortal fear felt when there is a threat to our physical existence. In the five element relationships, this is placed in direct opposition to the heart junkyuk, where we feel joy and transportation away from our material foundations into a more ethereal and spiritual realm. People who have had a scare or close encounter with death, such as a car accident, may develop sinking feelings of coldness and fear. They may also develop PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. They will be affected at the deep interior levels where the kidney energy dwells. In such cases, we can use the kidney junkyuk to bring warmth, supplement the kidneys, and counter the deep fear they have felt. One final note on the kidneys is the physical symptoms of low back pain and knee pain. These symptoms are also seen as deficiency of kidney qi and essence. The kidney junkyuk is useful in treating these symptoms. Other disorders for which the kidney junkyuk is helpful: chronic low back pain, knee pain, lack of sexual interest or vitality, reproductive difficulties, age-related issues, osteoporosis, short-term memory decline, hair loss, and dryness, urinary difficulties, kidney stones, insomnia, fear from threat of destruction, PTSD, mental sluggishness, exhaustion, slow development in children as the kidneys dominate physical growth and development throughout the cycles. The kidneys house essence and are the root of yin and yang in the body. They dominate the lifetime physical development and decline. Kidneys store willpower, sexual vitality, and dominate urinary system. The Saam Acupuncture Kidney Jungguk technique. Lung metal is the mother of kidney water. Lung metal nourishes kidney water. Spleen earth is the grandmother of kidney water. Spleen earth controls kidney water. Therefore, we use tonify mom to nourish the son and sedate grandmother. Therefore, the tonifying point on the lung and kidney channel is tonify lung points, the metal points on the lung and kidney channel, and reduce the earth point, the grandmother point on the kidney and spleen channel. Therefore, we get tonifying points lung 8 and kidney 7, and the sedating reducing points spleen 3 and kidney 3. This is the Heart Jungguk, the heart tonification technique. Points number 1 and 2 are the tonifying points. These are the wood points on the heart channel and liver channel. Wood is the mother of fire. So we tonify the mother element of fire. Heart is fire and liver is wood. So we're using the wood point on the heart channel, which is heart number 9. And we're using the wood point on the wood liver channel, which is liver point number 1. The sedating points are point number heart 3 and heart and kidney 10. These are the water points or the sedating points. These are the grandmother points. Water is the grandmother of fire, so we sedate the grandmother points. So these are the Hissi points or the water points on the heart channel and the kidney channel. So point number 3, heart 3, we sedate, and point number 4, kidney 10, we sedate. And once again, the arrows signify the directional flow of qi on the channel. So for points 1 and 2, on the heart point, the directional flow is going towards the end of the finger. That's the directional flow of qi. While point number 2, the directional flow of the qi is moving up from the toe. And then on the elbow, point number 3, to sedate, we go against the directional flow of qi. So the arrow is going up. If we were to insert the needle, we would be going in that direction, which is against the directional flow of the heart channel. And likewise with kidney point number 10, and the directional flow of the qi is moving downwards. This is the heart junkyuk. The heart is associated with the element of fire, the summer season, the environmental factor of heat, and emotions of joy and pleasure. The heart in Saam is associated mentally with the second level of human needs, satisfaction in loving relationships, and the appreciation of beauty. In traditional Oriental medicine, acupuncture medicine, the heart rules the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of ourselves. It is the palace where the spirit called Shen abides joyfully when conditions are right, and where it becomes restless and disturbed when conditions are not right. The heart is the link to the netherworld of dreams and places of beauty. It is the warmth and joyful feelings of friendship and the deep romantic feelings of love. It is the ecstasy of children lost in the act of running, laughing, and playing, or the artist consumed by the beauty of their subject or craft. It is the joy we take in being with loved ones and affected by the sadness that we feel at their loss. In acupuncture medicine, the heart is the place where the spirit, Shen, comes to abide at night when we go to sleep. When the conditions are right and the heart blood is full, the spirit will be able to rest and we will have pleasant sleep and dreams. If conditions are not right, perhaps one is prone to palpitations and arrhythmias, the spirit will not be able to rest and there will be disturbance of dreams and emotion. In acupuncture medicine, the heart is the monarch and king of all other organs. Through the transformational and activating powers of its element, fire, The heart helps to synthesize and stimulate the organs to achieve the grand architectural design and color of our being. It has a strong relationship to the mind and long-term memory, as opposed to the kidneys, which dominate short-term memory. Its channel opens up to the tongue and helps with clarity and subject of our speech, speaking clearly and saying beautiful things as opposed to slurring or saying ugly things. The heart governs the blood circulating through our arteries and veins. The heart in both acupuncture and Western medicine is protected by the pericardium, which is the tissue that surrounds the heart. In acupuncture medicine, disease first attacks the pericardium and is considered severe if it goes to the heart. Even so, the heart can still become affected and sensitive to imbalances. The channels of all the other organs pass through the heart. Irregularities anywhere within the system can leave their mark upon the heart. The emotion of the heart is joy. If joy is encumbered by depression, there is an imprint upon the heart. The psychic and emotional blows we take, the physical injuries and upsets in other organs can all lead to restriction of the heart and reduction in its function. Troubling dreams indicate such system-wide upsets. The heart controls the circulation of blood and is manifest in the complexion. If one's heart function is reduced, they may have impaired blood circulation and purple coloration of the skin. An acupuncture practitioner will feel choppiness in the pulse, and the tongue will have a purple color. We call this blood stagnation. The blood does not circulate smoothly or is obstructed, which will be accompanied by pain in the chest or area of stagnation. Congestive heart failure and coronary artery disease will exhibit these signs and symptoms. This is a symptom of heart qi and yang deficiency. The propulsive power of the heart is diminished and blood circulation slows. The heart dominates the realm of sleep. It is in sleep that we as babies and adults grow. The heart is the monarch and architect for the grand design of our being. It is in our sleep that blood vessels form, tissues grow, and channels reach ever outward and inward, all under the quiet direction of the heart. Sleep well, and both growth and healing occur. The ruler who rules the least rules the best. When the elements are in balance, the heart is seldom disturbed. When the element system is unbalanced, organs become mixed in strength and weakness. Because the heart's element is fire and its season is summer, it is prone to too much heat, which may become excessive in relation to the other organs. A patient may have a red face or an agitated or manic manner. They may also have insomnia or vivid dreams. When we check their pulse, it will be rapid and the tongue will be red with red bumps. If drug use is involved, the person may become manic. With alcohol use, they may have a lot of phlegm or frothing at the mouth. Phlegm is sticky and serves to obstruct the circulation of qi. In this case, phlegm obstructs the heart orifice and the heart's connection to the mind. The combination of alcohol or drugs, heat, and phlegm can result in severe mental derangement. One can have phlegm without any drug or alcohol problems. Phlegm can be seen during an epileptic seizure, where it obstructs the heart orifice and temporarily impairs mental function, which the heart dominates. Theoretically, in transforming and reducing phlegm, we can reduce seizures. Phlegm is strongly associated with the organ of the spleen. The spleen is the sun element to the heart and, in this case, is rebelling against the heart. We may want to select a combination of heart and spleen Sengguk and Jungguks techniques to reduce phlegm and restore mental function. The heart sublimely dominates our spiritual and mental condition. In perfect spirituality, we attain a state of joy and a lack of attachment to our material surroundings. In acupuncture medicine, each organ has its own associated emotion and its own personality. The heart is joy, the spleen is worry, the lungs sadness, the kidneys fear, and the liver anger. Each emotion and personality leaves its imprint upon the heart. If a negative emotion predominates, It will weigh down the joy of the heart. The heart in its ultimate expression is pure fire, pure yang, pure spirit. In Greek philosophy, Heraclitus the Obscure, circa 530 BC, sought to find the one unifying principle behind all things in the universe. His answer was fire. The world was made neither by God nor man, but it ever was and is and shall be ever living fire, in measures being kindled and in measures going out. No condition remains static or unaltered, including the mind or soul. Everything is in process of being built up from fire or torn down from fire. Fire, the element of the heart, is the ultimate transforming power. In the production of gold, we use fire to melt or burn away attached impurities. Negative emotions or poor health are like attached impurities to the heart. If we can address and remove the impurities, we can fully express our joyful heart. The Saam Acupuncture technique, Heart Jungguk, can be used for both physical problems of the heart as well as for emotional, spiritual problems. It can bring satisfaction to a life bereft of loving relationships or aesthetic beauty. It is a good technique for the terminally ill and elderly, as it can give spiritual comfort and preparation for the transformation into death. It can help soothe people saddened by the loss of loved ones, or for lonely people lacking loving relationships in their lives. In meditation, it is a good technique. It is a good technique when one is in a place of beauty. For heart energy is strong in aesthetic appreciation. The meditation is useful perhaps as an end for achieving spiritual fullness, where we are able to manifest kindness, comfort, and joy, and lose attachment to the material objects and ends in our life. Other uses for the heart junkyuk. Any heart related problems, chest pain, arrhythmias, palpitations, coronary artery disease, insomnia, fear and cold sensations. The heart element of fire warms and the emotion of joy counters fear. Depression, manic behavior, delirium, lack of beautiful things and surroundings, lack of warm relationships and romantic love, comfort to the terminally ill and those who have lost loved ones, to attain sage like expression, to experience pure joy and beauty, and loss of attachment to the material world. The heart houses the spirit, Shen. Good sleep, good dreams, governs circulation of blood. Saam Acupuncture Heart Junkyuk Tonifying Technique. Liver wood is the mother of heart fire. Liver wood nourishes heart fire. Kidneys are the grandmother of heart. Kidneys control heart. So we tonify the wood liver point on both the liver and the heart channel. That's heart 1 and liver 1. And reduce the water kidney point on the kidney and heart channel, heart 3 and kidney 10. This is the spleen junkyuk, the spleen tonification technique. Points number 1 and point number 2 are the tonifying points. These are the fire points. Fire, spleen is the element of earth, and fire is the mother of earth. So to tonify the spleen, we tonify the mom, which is the fire point. So on the spleen channel and the fire point on the fire channel, which is the heart. So point number 1, spleen 2 is the fire point on the spleen channel. So point number 1 and point number 2, heart 8, are the tonification points. Point number 3 and 4 are the sedating points, and these are the wood points. The spleen is earth. Wood is the grandmother of earth. Wood controls earth. So we want to sedate grandma. And so we sedate the wood point on the spleen channel, and we sedate the wood point on the liver channel. So point 3 is spleen 1, we sedate, and point 4 is liver 1, which we also sedate. You'll notice on this one that there's 3 points located all around the big toe. Uh, so that's just an interesting note in meditation. There's this is one of the only Jungguk techniques where you'll find 3 points like located right on the same area. Alrighty, so the spleen Jungguk. The spleen is associated with the element of earth and late summer or transitional period between seasons. It is affected by its pathological factor, dampness, and its emotion is worry. In Saam, the spleen is associated with the first level of human needs, satisfaction in the gathering of food and nutritional substance. Its energy adds warmth and moisture. In acupuncture medicine, the spleen is responsible for transportation and transformation of food and body fluids. It takes the food we eat and transforms it into qi and blood. The spleen gives nourishment to the muscles that they will be well shaped and strong, so that we will have the energy and power to move and exercise. The nourishing aspect of the spleen also provides for our essence, called post-heaven essence. When spleen qi is deficient, we get symptoms of fatigue and exhaustion. A poor diet, overwork, or prolonged strenuous activity, too much thinking or worry can all lead to signs of spleen qi deficiency, for which the spleen junkyuk is useful. The spleen is easily affected through its relationship with the liver. The liver wood is the controlling element of spleen earth. When we get stress, liver qi stagnation, it can easily affect the digestive functions of the spleen. Amongst the signs of spleen distress are epigastric discomfort, feelings of heaviness or sluggishness of the body, a tongue with teeth marks on its side, and a slippery, wiry pulse. Another symptom is loose stools or diarrhea. The spleen helps shape the stool. We should have at least one daily bowel movement. The shape should be well formed and solid. People with prolonged spleen deficiency signs, such as fatigue and low energy, may also develop prolapse of organs, like the anus or stomach. Spleen chi lifts things up, so the spleen junkyuk, with the added point do 20 at the top of the head, can help lift and raise the prolapsed organ. The spleen has a vitally important role in the transformation of body fluids. If the spleen becomes deficient, the quality of food refinement is affected, and we may develop signs of phlegm. Phlegm is a thick and congealed fluid substance that can be seen in the tongue, mouth, and nasal discharge. Phlegm can also be invisible, occupying joints, spaces, arteries, and cavities in the body, which become painful as a result of obstructed qi due to phlegm. In acupuncture medicine, there is a saying about phlegm: the spleen makes it, the lungs take it. Examples of phlegm are cough and the expectoration of fluids from the lungs, arthritis of the joints, nodules, and lumpy formations in the skin. Phlegm can occupy the blood vessels in the form of plaque and interrupt the heart's function of maintaining a calm mental spirit. Phlegm can also be seen in overweight and obese patients. A poor diet and eating the wrong kinds of foods will impair the function of the spleen. Weight gain and obesity in acupuncture medicine are called dampness. Sweet flavors are attributed to the spleen. The spleen function can be impaired by eating too many sweet things, which will turn into phlegm and dampness. Yellow is the color associated with spleen and the element of earth. A yellow complexion and skin color are also determinative of spleen dysfunction. If the color is bright yellow, it is a sign of damp heat. A sallow color is associated with damp cold. The spleen is associated with the emotion of worry. Earth, being the element of the spleen, is the central element to all others. Mentally, the centrality of the earth and spleen allow us to consider a problem from all possible directions and viewpoints. This can result in a propensity to overthink a problem and give us difficulty in making decisions. Overthinking leads to worry, which can result in or be a result of spleen qi deficiency and the above noted digestive impairments attributed to the spleen. The spleen also has the function of keeping blood in the vessels. Easily getting bruised or bleeding from the nose, gums, or anus are indications of spleen qi deficiency. To firm up the vessels and restrict such bleeding, we can use the spleen jungguk. Due to the stomach and spleen's close positional location to the heart, epigastric palpitations and heartburn may often be confused with heart problems. Heart palpitations may be confused with the spleen, so be aware of that. The emotion of worry can turn into anxiety felt by heart patients. In this case, the beauty and elegance of spleen jungguk is demonstrated by the spleen jungguk point selection. Points number 1 and 2 are the fire points or heart fire points, as the heart is the mother of spleen. Using these points can ameliorate the discomfort coming from the stomach, spleen, and heart areas in the chest. Points 3 and 4 are liver points. Here we sedate the liver wood grandmother point, as if to reduce stress felt by the liver, which controls the spleen. Since the spleen and stomach are the fundamental organs associated with diet and digestion, we should be mindful of the foods we eat. We should avoid eating too much cold food and drinks and limit the amount of dairy foods, as this contributes to phlegm. Men can take on a more vegetarian based diet, eating fewer meats than women, or separate the carbohydrates and meats between different meals. Taking these steps will help improve the efficiency of the digestive process of the spleen and stomach. In Saam Acupuncture, the spleen has a warm and nourishing properties. This is comparable to the flavor of sweetness attributed to the spleen. Sweetness contributes to adding moisture and substance. The spleen jungguk can be used for malnourished people who have cold and emaciated features or cold lodged in the muscles accompanied by numbness and pain. Other uses for the spleen jungguk: any digestive related issue, nausea, vomiting, epigastric pain, low appetite, jaundice, food stagnation, obesity, weight gain, diarrhea, loose stools. The spleen generates flesh, emaciation, malnourishment, muscle weakness, fatigue, low energy, and wound healing. Worry, inability to make decisions, bleeding disorders in the nose, mouth, anus, hemorrhoids. And I'm going to add here the spleen is good for diabetes, as for it because the pancreas has uh, is commonly associated with the spleen. So good for diabetes, as sweetness is the flavor associated with spleen. And then one other thing is ginseng. Ginseng is good because it goes to the spleen as an herbal medicine, and ginseng has numerous health benefits in regards to diabetes. The spleen, digestive related issues, transforms food into qi. Pathogen is dampness, overweight, body fluid transformation, helps stop bleeding, diarrhea, loose stools. Saam Acupuncture, the spleen jungguk tonifying technique. Heart fire is the mother of spleen earth. Heart fire nourishes spleen. Liver wood is the grandmother of spleen earth. Liver wood controls spleen. Therefore, we want to tonify the mother heart fire point on the heart and spleen channel and reduce the liver grandmother wood point on the liver and the spleen channel. Hence, we get the tonifying points, heart 8, spleen 2, and the reducing points, liver 1 and spleen 1. This is the lung jungguk, the lung tonification technique. Points number 1 and 2 are the tonifying points. Point number 1 is lung 9. This is the earth point. This is the spleen earth point, or earth point located on the lung channel. So earth is the mother of metal. So we want to tonify mom to increase the metal or lung point. So And then point number 2 is spleen 3, which is the earth point on the spleen channel. So we want to tonify point or lung 9 and spleen 3. These are the earth points on both the lung and spleen channel. Point number 3 and number 4 are the sedating points. Heart fire is the grandmother of spleen earth. Fire controls earth, whereas the grandmother, so we want to sedate the grandmother point. So lung 10, point number 3, lung 10 is the fire point on the lung channel, which we want to sedate. And then point 4 is the heart fire point on the fire. The heart point 4 is the fire point on the heart fire channel, and we want to sedate that. So lung 10 and heart 8 are the sedating points. And once again, the directional flow of qi. We do want to meditate or insert the needle in the directional flow of the qi. For lung 9, the tonifying point, you'll see the arrow going towards the thumb. That's going in the, we want to needle or meditate in the directional flow of the qi. As with point 2 or spleen 3, we want to go upwards, up towards the leg. And then for points 3 and 4, or lung 10 and heart 8, we sedate, we go against the directional flow of qi, which is both points going upwards towards the arm. This is the lung Jungguk. The lungs are associated with the element of metal, season of autumn. They pertain to the emotion of sadness, pathological factor of dryness, and white color, as seen on skin complexion and body fluid color, indicating coldness. In Saam, the lung Jungguk adds moist and cool energy and is associated with the first level of human needs, satisfaction in the accumulation of material goods and money, and the establishment of one's homeland. In acupuncture medicine, the lungs play an important role as our first line of defense against pathological viruses and bacteria coming to us from the outside. The lungs govern our defensive qi, wei qi, which circulates in the skin. It is here that if the defensive qi is strong, the pathogens will be expelled, and if the defensive qi is weak, the pathogens enter deeper into the body. The lungs are susceptible to external invasion of cold, where we get goosebumps on the skin, chills, phlegm, coughing, sneezing, and then flu. We can do things to protect ourselves from this by keeping the back of our necks warm and protected from cold air. In acupuncture medicine, we have an acupuncture point called Feng Fu, number 216, located under the occipital bone, the bump at the back of the head. This point means house of wind, which is a place where pathogens can enter into the lungs. The lungs dominate the area around the neck and upper back. To help prevent against cold and flu, the acupuncturist can use moxa to this area. Moxa is a warming herb when burned and enters the lung channel. In addition to cold, heat and dryness can also affect the lungs. If there is an external invasion of heat, we get a sore, itchy throat, dry, itchy skin, and a dry cough. The lung Jungguk can provide moisture and coolness to this condition. To alleviate a cough or external invasion, it may be necessary to incorporate the large intestine Jungguk or add the points of stomach 25, which are the front mu point of the large intestine. We'll cover those later. By adding these points, it creates an outlet for the lungs to drain into its yang paired counterpart organ, the large intestine. By draining from the lungs to the large intestine, it allows for the cough or pathogen to be flushed out of the system. The lungs have a role in the transportation of body fluids. The lungs are the recipient of phlegm, which is generated by the spleen. When lung qi is strong, it distributes moisture like a rain or mist from the sky throughout the body to keep the skin moist. When lung qi is weakened, fluids develop into thick, sticky substance of phlegm, which gets expirated through coughing or out the nose. If the phlegm color is clear, it is attributed to cold phlegm. If the phlegm is yellow or green, it is attributed to lung heat. As with a cough, it may be necessary to add the large intestine function to create an outlet for draining. The lungs play an important role in creating the overall substance of qi that circulates in our body. Similar to the role of the herb ginseng, which goes to the lung and spleen, tonifies qi, and retains moisture, the lungs mimic these properties. Qi is taken from the air we breathe and fused with the qi distilled from food of the spleen. This qi descends to the kidneys to supplement their function. Such is the lungs' mother relationship of nourishing kidneys son, that when we take a deep breath, we are descending the qi down for the kidneys to grasp. In acupuncture medicine, the lungs contain the spirit called Ho. The spirit is the corporate This spirit is the corporal spirit or spirit of the physical body. This mortal spirit is awakened at our first breath after birth and deceases at the last breath of life. It is the spirit of the physical world and the connection of our place in it. The host spirit is the connection we have to our loved ones as well as to the land and home of our being. We can become sad at this loss or the thought of this loss. Death tears us away from every physical attachment. The lament of Jesus at his impending death, as he says, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" indicates a sadness for the loss of life. His spiritual life, fulfillment, and resurrection are assured, but the flesh of his body is lost and gone forever. It is the mortality of the spirit of our flesh that causes the emotion of sadness or grief attributed to the lungs. We can use the lung junkyuk to offset some of this sadness. The lungs are also closely connected to the external environment through the interchange of breath and oxygen. The lung junkyuk pertains to a deep emotional sense of nostalgia and longing to our place in the world, an attachment to our homeland. This is the association with the first level of human needs, satisfaction in the accumulation of money and material possessions. In Saam, the lung junkyuk brings a moist, cool energy to the body. The inward and accumulating nature of the lung junkyuk make it appropriate for a person who is emaciated, thin, and has the symptoms of dryness and heat. Other uses for the lung junkyuk. Lung-related problems like pneumonia, bronchitis, asthma, coughing, common cold and flu, shortness of breath, and stifling of the chest. Nasal discharge. The lung channel disperses at the nose. Throat problems, laryngitis, sore throat, weak voice. Skin problems, dry, flaking, cracking, sunspots, aged skin. The moist, cooling energy of the lung junkyuk circulates through the skin. Pain in the upper chest as lung chi and heart chi lung and heart dominate upper chest area, so there can be a lung chi and heart chi that can result in chest pain. Counter the effects of smoking. Back pain, specifically for difficulty in bending forward but not backwards. Weak voice due to lung qi deficiency, for singers to keep their voices fresh and clear. The lungs, immune function, defensive qi, wei qi, circulates the skin, helps transform body fluids. Disharmony with the spleen and lungs, phlegm in the nose, throat, and chest. Attacked by cold, a cough or sneeze, chills, shivering, goosebumps. Saam Acupuncture, lung junkyuk, tonifying technique. Spleen earth is the mother of lung metal. Spleen earth nourishes lung metal. Heart fire is the grandmother of lung metal. Heart fire controls lung metal. Therefore, we want to tonify the spleen earth point on both the spleen and lung channel, and we want to reduce the heart fire point on the heart and lung channels, and thereby we get the tonifying points spleen 3 and lung 9, and the reducing points heart 8 and lung 10. This is the Pericardium Jungguk. The pericardium is not included in the five element organs, but it is closely paired with the heart. So it's kind of lumped together with the heart. And with that being said, there's shared points between the pericardium junkyuk and the heart junkyuk. For instance, point number 2 and point number 4 share the same points as the heart junkyuk. So this just signifies the close relationship between the pericardium and heart. Points number 1 and points number 2 are the tonifying points, and pericardium would be lumped with the heart as fire. So here we're tonifying the mother point. The mother wood is the mother of fire. So we're tonifying the wood point on the pericardium channel. That's pericardium number 9. And we're tonifying the wood point on the wood channel or liver channel, which is liver point number 1. So those are points 1 and 2. And then on the sedating points, we're sedating the grandmother of fire, which is water. So we're sedating the water hisi points of the or the kidney points on the pericardium channel and the kidney channel. So point 3, pericardium number 3, we're sedating that. That's the water point on the pericardium channel, as we are also doing with point 4, which is kidney 10, the water point on the water channel. And once again, the directional flow of qi, we want to insert the needle in the directional flow of the qi and meditate in that direction as well. So the arrow is pointing towards the end of the finger with pericardium 9 and going upwards from the toe. That's the directional flow of qi on the liver channel. And then we're sedating, going against the directional flow of qi. 4.3 on the pericardium, we're going against the pericardium directional flow by going upwards, and likewise with the kidney channel, going upwards against the kidney channel. The pericardium is the sixth yin organ and is closely related to the heart. It shares the heart element and environmental factor of fire, in this case being minister fire, which is subservient to the fire of the heart, called monarch fire. In acupuncture medicine and conventional Western medicine, the pericardium serves as the protective covering of the heart. It absorbs initial disease from the heart. If the disease advances, then it becomes a serious condition of the heart. In Saam, the pericardium is associated with the third level of human needs, satisfaction derived from the accumulation of intelligence and knowledge, and also the teaching of knowledge. Its energy is wind, and its environmental factor is minister fire. Its energy is wind of an inward moving, and its environmental factor is minister fire. The combination of wind and minister fire are inward moving and take on the characteristic of accumulation, in this case being the storage of information. The pericardium junkyuk helps us to improve memory and is useful for students who have exhausted themselves from too much study. The pericardium junkyuk can help to better retain information and improve memory. Traditionally, the pericardium was categorized and combined together with the heart. Because of this, we can add the pericardium junkyuk to the heart patterns described above. Other uses for the pericardium junkyuk: any heart-related problems, pain, tightness in the chest, arrhythmia, palpitation. And this would indicate also for the famous point, pericardium number 6, which is what was the doctor used in my treatment. If you go back to that chapter on my story, you'll see pericardium number 6 was used a little bit up the wrist between the tendons. But that indicates pericardium role for heart-related issue. Pain, numbness, or masses along the armpit and inside the area where the pericardium channel passes through. Digestive problems, absolutely. Pericardium number 6 also indicated for seasickness, nausea, and we'll come to that when we get the harmonized combinations. The pericardium is the harmonized combination to the stomach. So absolutely digestive problems, sinus congestion conditions. Mental functions to improve memory, increase one's knowledge, and prevent mental fatigue or overstudy. Next, we will do the reinforcing techniques for the 6 yang organs. The yang organs share the same element and season as the yin organ to which they are paired with. In Saam, the yang organs are associated with feelings of dissatisfaction in regards to the levels of human needs, while the yin organs express satisfaction. The yang Jungguk techniques are often used to treat pain along the distribution of the channel, and the author would like to refer the reader to the Chinese acupuncture and moxibustion and other Oriental medicine textbooks for channel pathway and point descriptions. Also, I would like to remind you that the order of the Jing Well, Yin Spring Points, Shu Stream, and Jing River Points and the Hasty Points, the order shifts in regards to the element. For yang organs, the Jing Well points, which are points at the fingertip and toe tip, are of the element metal. The Yin Spring Points, just a little further up, are of the element of water, and Shu Stream Points on the wrist crease or the ankle crease are associated with wood for the yang organs. Jing River Points further up the arm or shin are fire element, and Hasty Points at the elbows and the knees are of the element of earth. So this is going to play into how these points are constructed and the point prescriptions. This is the Gallbladder Jungguk tonifying technique. Points number 1 and number 2 are the tonifying points. These are the Yin Spring Points, and they are associated with the element of water. Gallbladder is paired with the liver, and that's a wood organ. So gallbladder is the yang organ paired with the liver, and it shares the element of wood. And urinary bladder is paired with the kidney and shares the element of water. So water nourishes wood. So therefore, and the water element on the yang channels is on the in spring points. So gallbladder 43, point number 1 here, is the water point on the gallbladder channel. We're using water to tonify the sun, or nourish the sun. Point number 2, urinary bladder 66, is the water point on the water channel of the yang organ. So gallbladder 43 and urinary bladder 66 are the tonifying points. Point 3 and point 4 are the sedating points. These are the metal points on the yang organ, which are at the Jing Well points on the fingertips on the yang organs. So here the metal point, the Jing Well starts at the fingertip and toe tip. Metal is the grandmother of wood, and large intestine is paired with the lung, which is a metal organ. So large intestine also is a metal organ. Therefore, large intestine metal is the grandmother of gallbladder wood, and we want to sedate grandma. So in this case, we use gallbladder 44 and large intestine 1. These are the metal points on the gallbladder channel and the metal point on the large intestine metal channel. The gallbladder is a yang organ and is associated with its yin counterpart, the liver. They both share the element of wood, spring season, and wind as its environmental factor. The gallbladder in Saam also has the characteristic of minister fire, a subservient fire to that of monarch fire. Like the liver, it is associated with the third level of human needs, that of achievement of intellectual power. Only in this case, the yang aspect is an expression of dissatisfaction. The yin aspect of the liver is an expression of satisfaction. A person with gallbladder energy may suffer from feelings of shame, inferiority, and humiliation, which generate feelings of rage and anger. The minister fire energy of gallbladder combines with the element of wood to create an explosive outward movement of air versus the inward movement and expansion of air of the liver Jungguk. This can be expressed in the revolutionary rage and anger of an oppressed minority or someone with repressive tendencies. This is also the foundation of Dr. John Sarno's unconscious rage. More will be discussed in the gallbladder Sengguk chapter, but here we do Dr. John Sarno with the gallbladder. The outward propulsion of minister fire and wood of the gallbladder Jungguk can give one courage to fight and confront their fears. As one Greek philosopher discussed with another, surely it is best to die in the rush of battle than in a depleted old age. It is sure to be true, replied the other. For some, it is a comforting thought to die fighting in a rush of adrenaline and action. The gallbladder Jungguk provides a spark of courage and fight for which to counter the fear and coldness of a depleting life. To a lesser and more mundane level, the courage offered by the gallbladder Jungguk can help overcome extensive self criticism of one's shortcomings of sins and mistakes of behavior. People affected with sensitivity to original sin in the doctrine of Christianity may benefit from this technique. It can be used for someone with feelings of guilt who has been publicly or self ostracized. Xiao syndrome problems. In acupuncture medicine, the Xiao syndrome is a sickness that is half interior and half exterior in nature. An attack of wind from the outside causes us sickness. We may get alternating chills and fevers, which is characteristic sign of Xiao syndrome. The alternating chills and fever is an indication of a fight between the exterior pathogen chills and the body's internal immune system that generates heat, fever. We can use the gallbladder Jungguk to stabilize the disease and help expel the wind pathogen. The gallbladder Jungguk is used to treat pain or problems along its channel, such as temporal occipital headache, pain on the sides of the torso, hypochondriac region, sciatic and radiating symptoms of low back pain, and leg problems like cramping. Uses for the gallbladder Jungguk: temporal occipital headaches, neck pain and stiffness, lower back and sciatic symptoms, and pain at the sides of the legs. Vision disorders like glaucoma, macular degeneration, or night blindness, hypothyroidism, slowing metabolism. Dr. John Sarno, tension myositis syndrome, which is discussed further in the gallbladder Sengguk chapter. Dr. Sarna's psychological explanation of pain is essentially a description of gallbladder pathology in respect to revolutionary rage. This unconscious rage results from inhibited actions and desires of the id. These behaviors and desires would be inappropriate and damaging to the lives our ego has built for us. Therefore, the ego triggers a repression mechanism. We impose restrictions on our own behavior. We are imprisoned by inaction. The answer lies in courage. We should change our thought from thinking that we are prohibited to act in such and such a way because of social mores and values to I have the courage to act in such and such a way. By having courage to act, we give ourselves an ability to choose. We have the courage to transcend social restraint, but we have the option to choose not to do so. Combine the gallbladder Jungguk with the kidney Jungguk if the primary point of conflict is from a binding sexual relationship. Give yourself courage. Again, give yourself the option to choose. I have kind of since changed my mind. I don't do the gallbladder with kidney. It's all about the kidney and the heart. And we will be exploring Dr. John Sarno, Revolutionary Rage, in much further detail. So everything with Dr. John Sarno nowadays is done with the heart, and it's the heart and gallbladder Jungguk, this gallbladder point prescription that we will be using. This is the urinary bladder Jungguk tonifying technique. Points number 1 and number 2 are the tonifying points. Points number 3 and 4 are the sedating points. Here you'll notice that points number 1 and 2 are on the fingertip of the yang channels, which the Jing well points on the yang channels are metal. And so urinary bladder is related, or yin yang associated with the kidney. It shares the element of water. So on the yang channels, the Jing well points are metal, and we use metal to nourish and mineralize water. And large intestine paired with the lung is the metal. So on points number 1 and 2, we're doing the metal points on the urinary bladder and large intestine channel. Urinary bladder number 67 and large point number 1 are the tonifying points. And points number 3 and number 4 are the Hisse points of the yang channels, which are the element of earth. And urinary stomach is the element of earth, and earth is the grandmother of water. So we sedate the grandmother point, we sedate the earth element in this case. So here we're using the earth Hisse point on the urinary bladder, which is urinary bladder 40. and the earth point on the stomach channel, which is point number 36. And again, we're going in the directional flow of the chi. Points number 1 and 2, you'll see point number 1, urinary bladder 67. The directional flow of chi goes to the end of the toe, while point number 2, large intestine 1, the directional flow of the chi is going up the finger. These are the tonifying directions. Point number 3, on the urinary bladder 40, we're going against the directional flow of chi on the channel, so we're going against the urinary bladder flow, which comes down the leg. In this case, we're going upwards. We would needle upwards to sedate, but we can kind of visualize meditation. Likewise, with stomach 36, we're going against the directional flow of chi on the stomach channel, which we would needle in that direction or meditate. The urinary bladder is a yang organ and paired with its yin organ counterpart, the kidneys. Together, they share the element of water, the winter season, and the environmental factor of coldness. The urinary bladder is the coldest channel in our system. It is associated with the second level of human needs, that of pleasure and fear. In this case, the urinary bladder pertains to fear, and its yin counterpart, the kidneys, pertain to pleasure. The fear pertains to mortal fear felt when something is threatening our existence. If we are under attack or patrolling a dangerous area, we are highly alert and sensitive to the sounds and movements of our surroundings. In such a case, we may become as still and as quiet as a pool of water, hair standing up at the back of the neck and getting chills. This type of cold energy of the urinary bladder channel. The coldness and fear of the urinary bladder Jungguk can temper the heat or sexual activity or promiscuity. It balances the kidney and heart Jungguk's heat and promotion of sexual desire and urgency. The urinary bladder Jungguk can keep this desire from getting too strong and too ruinous to the individual. The urinary bladder Jungguk is used to treat urinary problems like retention of urine or bladder infection, in which its cold energy can offset the heat of the infection. The urinary bladder Jungguk is used to treat pain along the distribution of its channel. There are many points along the urinary bladder channel as it descends down the back along the spine. These points, back shoe points, are organ-specific points and are specific to enhancing the Saam medical meditation. In regards to this, the urinary bladder channel is the longest channel in the body. As it descends in two lines down along the spine, and there's important points represented, each of the 12 organs along these points, as well as influential point of blood and other important points. So the urinary bladder on the back is going to be used to connect with every single organ. You can do it in meditation, where you can connect these very important back shoe points with the channel of the meditation or acupuncture that you're doing. Other uses for urinary bladder Jungguk: urinary disorders, infection, kidney stones, dry eyes. The urinary channel starts at the eyes and brings coolness and moisture to them. Neck and back pain, spine disorders like bulging disc and muscle tightness, excessive sexual desire, promiscuity adds coldness and fear to the heat of sexual action, headaches and neck stiffness along the top and the back of the head. This is the small intestine Jungguk, the tonification technique. Points number 1 and 2 are the tonifying points, and point number 3 and 4 are the sedating points. In this case, wood is the mother of fire, and gallbladder is associated with the element of wood per its paired relationship with the liver, and the small intestine, being paired with its yin counterpart, the heart, is associated with the element of fire. So we use the wood points on the yang channel, which in this case is the shu stream point, the third up of the shu stream points. So the shu stream point is the wood, so we're going to tonify wood to treat the heart or small intestine. So small intestine 3 is the wood point or the shu stream point on the small intestine channel, and gallbladder 41 is the wood point on the wood channel or the shu stream point. Points number 3 and 4 are the Yin Spring Points, which pertain to water on the Yin channel points. In this case, water is associated with the kidney and urinary bladder, which is the grandmother to the heart and small intestine, and we want to sedate the grandma. So, small intestine point number 2 and urinary bladder 66, we sedate, as these are the water grandmother points on the Yang channel, which is the uh, Yin Spring Point. The and once again, we meditate in the directional flow of qi. In points number 1 and 2, we are needling or meditating according to the direction of the arrow, which is the directional flow of the qi of the channel. And points number 3 and 4, we're going counter to the directional flow of qi of the channel in acupuncture or meditation. The small intestine is a yang organ and is paired with its yin counterpart, the heart. Both share the element of fire, the summer season, and environmental factor of heat. However, in Saam, the small intestine also has properties of water. Combining the redness and heat of fire with the dark color of water forms blood. The small intestine Jungguk is used to generate and cool blood. It is useful for menstrual and gynecological problems such as amenorrhea and menopausal symptoms. It is also useful for internal bleeding or of hemorrhage or bloody stools. The small and you'll see this when it's paired with the spleen in the harmonized combinations. As the spleen holds blood in the vessels, and the spleen digestive organ, we get blood from the food we eat. So it's very useful that the spleen is paired with the small intestine in the harmonized combinations, which we will discuss later. The small intestine Jungguk can be used for intestinal pain, bloating, and coldness or pain in the periumbilical region where the small intestine is located. The small intestine Jungguk also separates the clear part of body fluids from the turbid parts. The clear parts are redistributed within the body, while the turbid gets excreted. If there is too much heat within the turbid body fluids, we will get dark yellow, cloudy, and painful urination. The small intestine Jungguk can help clear internal heat causing this problem. The small intestine Jungguk is used for any pain anywhere along its channel distribution, particularly along the pinky, wrist, elbow, shoulder, and jaw, and headaches, which you'll see later. Other uses for the small intestine Jungguk: blood problems and diseases, gynecological problems, menopause, uterine bleeding, and infertility. Skin rashes due to heat in the blood, abdominal pain and pain in the periumbilical region, pain of the pinky finger, wrist, shoulder, upper arm, shoulder, neck, and cheek pain. This is the stomach Jungguk tonifying technique. Point number 1 and point number 2 are the tonifying points. Point number 3 and point number 4 are the sedating points. Stomach Jungguk. Stomach is associated with the element of earth. It's paired to the spleen and earth element. And so we tonify the mother point, which is fire, and that would pertain to the small intestine. And these on the yang channels, the fire resides at the Jing River points. So we tonify fire to nourish the sun. So point number 1, which is stomach point 41, we tonify, and small intestine 5, we tonify. Points number 3 and 4 are the sedating points. The wood is the grandmother of earth. So stomach is earth and gallbladder pertains to the element of wood. So we want to sedate grandma, and we do this by sedating stomach point 43 and gallbladder point 41. Again, these are the wood points on the shoestring points of the yang channel of the stomach. And again, we want to meditate or needle or acupressure in the directional flow of qi. Points number 1 and 2 are tonifying, so we are moving in the directional flow of the qi. Point number 1 going towards the toe, and point number 2 going up the arm, and then vice versa with sedating technique. We're going against the directional flow of qi to resist and sedate. The stomach is a yang organ and is paired with its yin counterpart, the spleen. Both share the element of earth, season of late autumn, and pathological factor of dampness. In Saam Acupuncture, the stomach junkyuk has warm and drying properties. It can help decrease the dampness and obesity, especially when there are signs of cold like paleness and diarrhea. Excessive sweating that drains essence and qi can leave one susceptible to attack by cold wind. This can be inhibited by the warm and drying properties of the stomach junkyuk. The stomach junkyuk is also used for disorders of the stomach and gastrointestinal system for symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, decreased appetite, acid regurgitation, belching, and stomach pain. The stomach is the element of earth which establishes its centrality in the body and its location between the upper and lower parts. The stomach acts as a bridge of transportation for warmth and nourishment between the upper and lower parts. This is similar to the action of the window of the sky points on the neck and upper chest areas of the stomach channel, which allow an openness and communication between heaven being above, being the head, and earth being below. The stomach junkyuk has synergistic effect upon other organs. The role of liver and smooth circulation of qi and blood is limited if it does not have the warmth and dryness of the stomach behind it. Together, these two can cross the separation of the upper and lower parts to warm if there is coldness below or coldness above. Coldness above would be signs and symptoms of pneumonia, where cold and damp are lodged in the lungs. The stomach junkyuk adds warmth and dryness to the lung junkyuk, which is of a cold, moisturizing energy. Coldness below is seen from the stomach junkyuk's interesting role for the treatment of fertility. Its element is earth and is comparable to a field where the seed is planted and crops grow. We use the stomach junkyuk to nourish the uterus so that there is adequate soil for the egg to implant itself. In males, the warmth of the stomach junkyuk, together with the liver junkyuk, circulates through the genitals. Note, if the problem of infertility lay within the seed, egg, or sperm itself, then we use the kidney junkyuk. The stomach is associated with the first level of human needs, dissatisfaction with the amount of money and material possessions we have. This opposes the oversatisfaction of money and material possessions of the lung junkyuk, which in excess manifest as greediness, cluttering, hoarding, accompanied by nervousness and restless symptoms. The stomach junkyuk can bring a calm, comfortable demeanor and reduce one's nerves and anxiety in regards to hanging on too hard to their possessions. Due to the stomach channel's wide distribution across the face, the stomach junkyuk is often used for facial problems like Bell's palsy, frontal headache, and toothache pain along the upper jaw, as well as sinus congestion. It is indicated for facial beauty rejuvenation acupuncture, which helps to eliminate fine wrinkle lines, improve collagen production and muscle tone, reduce bags and sagging tendencies, and improve facial color. Other uses for the stomach junkyuk: lack of appetite, indigestion, acid reflux, frontal headaches, facial swelling, sinus pain, and congestion. The stomach channel covers the forehead and frontal sinuses of the face. The dry warming energy of the stomach junkyuk and the distant points on the feet activate and drain the sinuses for relief from headache, swelling, and sinus congestion. Pain along the stomach channel treats phlegm and damp, especially cold symptoms, as the stomach junkyuk is warming and drying. Coldness in the upper and lower parts of the body, used with lung or liver junkyuk. When we get to the harmonized combinations, you will find we use the stomach with the pericardium channel and we channel knowledge, which also kind of portends to contentment. This is the large intestine junkyuk tonifying technique. Points number 1 and 2 are the tonifying points, and points number 3 and 4 are the sedating points. The large intestine is associated with the element of metal, as is its yin counterpart, the lung. So metal, in points 1 and 2, we tonify mum, which is the earth. Earth is the mother of metal. So we want to tonify mum, the earth point, which is stomach. In this case, the earth point is the Hesi point, which is located at the elbow and knee for the yang channels. So large intestine number 11 is the earth point on the large intestine channel, and stomach 36 is the earth point on the earth channel. These two are the tonifying points. The sedating points. Fire is the grandmother of metal, so fire controls metal. The small intestine is associated with the element of fire, as its yin counterpart is the heart. So in this case, we want to sedate grandma, sedate the fire element, and we do so by using the Jing River point, which is associated with fire on the yang channels. So large intestine number 5 is the sedating point, sedating fire point on the large intestine channel, and small intestine 5 is the sedating point on the fire channel or the small intestine channel. Again, we go in the directional flow of qi. We want to needle or pretend in meditation that you're pushing the qi upwards for the directional flow of qi in points 1 and 2. For the large intestine, it's going from the fingertips up the arm, while the stomach channel goes from the knee down to the foot. That's the tonifying direction. To sedate, we go against the directional flow of the qi in the channel. So you'll see point 3, the large intestine, we're going in the opposite direction, opposing direction of qi, going towards the fingertip. Likewise with the small intestine. Large intestine is a yang organ and is paired with its yin counterpart, the lungs. Both share the element of metal and season of autumn. In Saam, the large intestine Jungguk is associated with the first level of human needs, that of accumulation of food, money, and material possessions. In this case, being a yang organ, it is an expression of dissatisfaction. The large intestine Jungguk's element of metal is a cold temperature, and its environmental factor is dryness, the direct opposite of the spleen Jungguk, which is the yin organ from the first level of human needs, with a warm and moisturizing energy. The large intestine Jungguk can counter the oversatisfaction of the spleen, which in excess manifests as overeating, overweight, laziness, lethargy, lack of motivation. And yes, this is the technique used for weight loss. In acupuncture medicine, this can lead to a condition of dampness, often with heat involved, which is categorized as damp heat. The dry cooling yang energy of the large intestine Jungguk helps to invigorate one out of a state of lethargy and lack of motivation, and helps to clear the dampness and heat of overaccumulation. This is what makes the large intestine Jungguk the first choice for weight loss acupuncture. The large intestine's element of metal is indicative of the physical structure and protective framework of a building. This corresponds to the bones and immune system, which are the support and protective features of our body. The large intestine Jungguk can strengthen the hard, compact layer of the bone. The kidney Jungguk contributes to the soft tissue of marrow to give us structural integrity. The large intestine is paired with its yin counterpart, the lungs. The lungs help circulate the defensive qi in the skin, while the large intestine helps maintain antibodies and white blood cells for the body's immune response. Points number 1 and 2, large intestine 11 and stomach 36 of the large intestine Jungguk are commonly used by themselves to boost immune response. The large intestine Jungguk is used to prevent or expel cold and flu symptoms and disease that are external in nature. The large intestine Jungguk supports the gastrointestinal tract. It can be helped to treat intestinal problems such as IBS, diverticulitis, constipation, diarrhea, hemorrhoids, and rectal prolapse. Due to the close proximity of the prostate to the descending colon and the large intestine's Jungguk's drying cooling properties, it can be used along with the liver and kidney Jungguks for problems of an enlarged prostate. The large intestine Jungguk can also be used to treat pain or mechanical problems along its channel for problems such as wrist pain, tennis elbow, TMJ, and tooth pain in the lower jaw. Other uses for the large intestine Jungguk: weakness or of disorder of bone or muscular system, back pain, especially indicated for being able to bend backwards but not forward. Skin diseases such as acne is an indication of damp heat for which the dry cooling nature will counteract. Weight loss. So it's interesting, the lungs and large intestine being metal, we do think of them as being structural components of our body, the bones, but also the immune system, and that's metal has lots of immune system functions. Also, you'll see in the harmonized combinations, we use the liver with the large intestine for all of these things we just read through. So it's a very commonly used technique and to great effect. We'll talk about more of this later in the harmonized combinations discussion. This is the Sanjiao Jungguk, the tonifying technique. The Sanjiao is the Sanjiao is the yang organ to the pericardium, and like the pericardium, it is grouped together with the heart. So the Sanjiao and the small intestine are going to share some same acupuncture points, points number 2 and 4 on the Jungguk prescription here. So in this case, Sanjiao, like the pericardium, is also associated with the element of fire. So points number 1 and number 2 are the tonifying points, and the wood is the mother of fire. So we are going to tonify the wood points, which reside at the shoestring point on the yang channel, and it's represented by gallbladder and liver. So in this case, being yang channel, we're going to tonify the wood points on the Sanjiao and gallbladder channel. Sanjiao number 3 is point number 1, and gallbladder number 41 is point number 2. These are the two tonifying points. And then water is the grandmother of fire, and water controls fire. So we want to sedate grandma, which are the Yin Spring Points on the yang channels, closer to the fingers. So Sanjiao number 2 is the water point on the Sanjiao channel, while urinary bladder point 66 is the water point on the water channel. And once more, we want to meditate in or needle or acupressure in the directional flow of qi for the tonifying points. And then we want to go in the counter flow against the flow of directional flow of qi for the sedating points. The Sanjiao is the sixth yang organ. It is paired with its yin counterpart, the pericardium. It shares the element of fire and the environmental factor of minister fire. The Sanjiao in traditional Oriental medicine refers to the upper, middle, and lower torso, and meaning draining, distillation, and transportation of fluids within each of these levels. The upper torso distills fluids like a fine mist. The middle torso percolates fluids like a frothy mixture, and the lower torso drains the solid elements. In this sense, in Saam, the Sanjiao technique, the Sanjiao Jungguk technique helps to clear and drain unpleasant memories and stored knowledge, the opposite of the Pericardium Jungguk, which stores and accumulates knowledge. The Sanjiao Jungguk can help people experiencing PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, who are threatened with reoccurring and reimagine disturbing events in their minds. These are thought occurrences in the consciousness as opposed to the unconscious emotions of the Gallbladder Jungguk. This is PTSD versus Dr. John Sarno. PTSD resides in the consciousness and Dr. John Sarno unconsciousness. We will be discussing these in much greater detail later. The Sanjiao Jungguk helps us to clear out unpleasant memories, whether from relationships, trauma, or guilt due to moral shortcomings. The Sanjiao Jungguk opposes signs of excessive liver for a reduction of stress and liver qi stagnation. The liver is energetically categorized as wind of an inward nature. Self-inflation of the ego, unrealistic dreams, and perceptions about oneself and accomplishments can lead to emotional frustration. The Sanjiao's energetic is wind of an outward nature which gives us the important ability to simply forget and dismiss traumatic events, compulsive thoughts, and persistent unrealistic thoughts. Living in a fantasy will ultimately lead to frustration and despair. To stop fantastical thoughts and dreaming, use the Sanjiao Jungguk. This one I also use the spleen, small intestine Jungguk. We will go into that with the discussion on overthinking later in the series. The Sanjiao has less rage than the energy of Gallbladder Jungguk. In this case, it is more of feelings of inferiority, shame, embarrassment. This results in a person using sarcasm as a form of defense or attack. The Sanjiao Jungguk can be used for pain or mechanical problems along its channel pathway, like wrist pain, elbow pain, ear problems. The joy of forgetting. Sanjiao is an applicable technique for overthinking and compulsive thinking. Although, again, spleen, small intestine is good. Overthinking is characterized as a spleen channel property. The Sanjiao technique will probably achieve quicker results for stopping compulsive thinking. However, my mind has changed on that. Spleen, small intestine. If there is stress involved from compulsive thinking, the Sanjiao is applicable because of its counterbalancing channel to the liver and excessive liver signs. Clinically, I use the Sanjiao very frequently because it is paired with the kidney Jungguk. So the kidney Sanjiao Jungguk is probably the most commonly used technique I do, along with the liver large intestine. And we will discuss that more in detail with the PTSD chapter. The tonification sedation techniques using breath, acupressure, and needle insertion. Needle insertion and acupressure. To tonify, insert the needle in a directional flow of qi of the channel. To sedate, insert the needle against the directional flow of qi in the channel. This can be mimicked using acupressure with the fingers. So when I do acupressure with the fingers, I kind of accentuate, and you'll see rotation. I'll be acupressure around the point, but kind of accentuating either with the directional flow of qi or against the directional flow of qi. So this is the first way to tonify is insert the needle or acupressure in the directional flow of qi or against if it's sedate. The second tonifying technique is to rotate the needles or circle the fingers with acupressure clockwise 9 times, and then you repeat this 3 to 9 times. So you're going to spin the needle in a clockwise direction in sets of 9 times. And likewise, you're going to circle the finger in a clockwise direction in a set of 9 times. So this I do again with the directional flow of the channel as I put my finger on the acupuncture point and I'm counting, I'm going clockwise to tonify and I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Generally, I do this 3 times, but you could do it upwards of 9 times. To sedate, you rotate the needles or finger with acupressure counterclockwise only 6 times, and then you repeat this from 3 to 6 times. So in this case, we're going counterclockwise Again, spinning the needle counterclockwise or rotating the finger counterclockwise 6 times. Now, you may wonder, 9 times is to tonify and 6 times is to sedate. Yes, this goes back thousands of years, probably to the Nanjing, probably to the I Ching, probably to the Bagua. This is a Bagua development. We will introduce that, a little bit of it, when we start talking about the harmonized combinations. But yes, to tonify, you want to rotate clockwise 9 times, and to sedate, you want to rotate counterclockwise 6 times. And then now we talk about patient breath instructions with Saam acupuncture and acupressure. To tonify a point, insert the needle when patient exhales. To sedate a point, insert when patient inhales. Okay, yeah, this is a tonifying technique. I don't always do this because I'm going to be doing the breathing instructions next. So this is something I do with every patient, and it's just a fundamental technique because this is how we incorporate the patient's mind into the treatment. We recruit the patient's mind into the treatment. By doing this breathing instruction, we have them bring their attention to the acupuncture or acupressure points. And then we're going to ask them to meditate on those points. That's what this is. This is Saam medical meditation. It's meditation on the acupuncture points. And these acupuncture points are below the elbows to the fingertips and below the knees to the toe tips. So we're bringing our attention way out of our mind to these far away acupuncture techniques. And we're going to talk about this in greater detail when we do the triangulation method and we do Dr. Richard Tan's balance method system. But this is fundamental. We recruit the patient's mind, we bring their attention to the faraway points, we bring them out of their head while they're still in their body. And believe it or not, this is a great, comfortable, relaxing treatment, which is the point of emphasis for all acupuncture should be relaxation and comfort. Only in relaxation and comfort can you become aware to your internal chi. Again, a baby's physical growth occurs during their sleep. Healing and organ reharmonization has to begin in relaxation and comfort. The breathing meditation is used to focus the patient's mind on the 2 tonification points of the Jungguk technique you are using. It is the last instruction I give, before leaving the patient alone. And then I do actually instruct them during the treatment. I have them go 25 minutes, and I instruct them every 5 or 10 minutes to do this 3 breath sequence on their own. And it is a 3 breath sequence. So after all the needles have been inserted, ask the patient to inhale deeply through their nose. When fully inhaled, have them hold their breath for as long as they are comfortable, breathing out through pursed lips, slowly, softly, smoothly. During their breath hold and exhalation, stimulate the 2 tonifying points with the tonifying techniques discussed above. During inhalation, reduce the sedating points with the sedation technique. This is also a tonifying sedation technique. When we hold our breath and exhale, this is the time of tonification. When we inhale, this is the time of sedation. So we coordinate the needle stimulation with their breathing. When they hold their breath and they're exhaling, I'm spinning the needle, rotating it 9 times, or I'm rotating my finger in a clockwise direction 9 times as they hold their breath and as they exhale. When they breathe in, I go to the sedating points and I rotate them in a counterclockwise direction in increments of 6. So it's coordinated with the breathing. We do 3 breaths. So breathe in again, this time when holding the breath. Instruct the patient to mentally bring their attention, breath, oxygen to the 2 tonifying points that you are stimulating. I instruct them, where the mind goes, so goes the chi. And I'm instructing this on their first breath. So, and then also I do instruct them, especially with the kidney channel treatment. The kidneys absorb the oxygen of the lungs. So when I do a kidney channel treatment, and you'll see in the harmonized combinations, with all the points are in the lower body, the lower torso, I instruct the patient to even imagine that they're sending their breath to these far away points because the kidneys grab the chi of the lung. So I instruct them to pretend like they're sending their oxygen to all these far away acupuncture points. Awesome treatment. It's shortness. I didn't even discuss kidneys have shortness of breath. We will talk about that with the harmonized combination. So repeat the breath cycle again with acupuncture stimulation. This is done or should be done for 3 breath cycles. Now, there is an exception with PTSD and with Dr. John Sarno. I actually do 6 breath technique, which you'll see later. The first 3 breaths are on the yin and heart, or the kidney and the heart channel, while I do another 3 breaths on the Sanjiao and Gallbladder channel with instructions of kind of expelling their PTSD thoughts bringing their PTSD thoughts to the acupuncture points for the purpose of expelling them by simply forgetting and using the wind of an outward moving event. So typically I only do 3 breath sequence, but in the exception of PTSD and Dr. John Sarno's unconscious rage, I do a 3 breath sequence separately for the kidney and separately for the Sanjiao, which we will go through. So acupressure application with Saam. Apply acupuncture with the finger either by the nail for toe or finger acupuncture points or the smooth rounded end of the finger for softer and fleshier areas. Circular application. To tonify a point, circle the finger 9 times in a clockwise direction. Repeat 9 times. Pressure application. You can also press the finger firmly down for 4 seconds, release for 4 seconds, and repeat. Apply this with synchronized breath of patient practitioner. Inhale and apply pressure, exhale and release pressure. Try to simultaneously hold and stimulate the 2 tonification points of Saam acupuncture together. Instruct the patient in breath meditation with acupuncture. So I have long arms and I can generally reach the acupuncture points on the hands and the feet together. And I do a coordination stimulating both points with my fingers at the same time with the breathing techniques discussed above. So we can do meditation, we can do acupuncture, we can do acupressure, and it's just very important. These are very kind of fundamental things to help with your tonifying and sedating technique. And we'll talk a little bit more again later with the PTSD and Dr. John Sarno.